Welcome, all you lovely people, to Velvet Owl watches Baywatch Nights, so you don't have to. Now, if only someone could watch Baywatch Nights so I wouldn't have to, and then I could relay that. Oh man, what an idea for a podcast. I might do that, like, for a future episode of my main podcast, of, instead of, like, watching the movie, I'll watch someone's podcast about a movie and then relay to you and describe what goes on in the podcast. This is genius. Not really. There's probably like a million podcasts out there that just like do recaps of other podcasts. I don't know if there are. If there aren't, you could go ahead and do it. Like, what? Like, I'm gonna own the trademark to some fucking stupid concept like that? No! Because when it comes to stupid concepts, we have Baywatch Nights. We are in the second season, episode 2, 24th episode overall of the series, but we are into the X-Files era of Baywatch Nights. This episode's called Creature, and I'm guessing that there's gonna be a creature. Just seems like a good guess, right? I would be pissed off if this episode turns out to not have a creature. Like, how are you going to name your episode Creature if there isn't a creature? Just, if any show could do it, it would be Baywatch Nights. But this is the Supernatural X-Files wannabe season of Baywatch Nights. Man, the show should have kept going and then just every season just rip off some other show, right? That would be awesome. Anyways, on to Baywatch Nights, Season 2, Episode 2, Creature. We start off in a nondescript laboratory facility, and there's some security guards, and they're watching the monitors, and one of them sees something. It looks like a woman's leg just kind of shaking. And he's got that lusty look in his eyes, like, oh, I gotta go check this out, dude. Can you cover the security area for me? And the other guard's like, you know you're not supposed to do this. You're gonna get in trouble. It's like, only if they find out. You're not gonna snitch on me, are you? Snitches get stitches, bitches. No, it didn't go down like that at all. But he goes down to the area where I assume the creature is. And he's like, yeah. Now that I get a closer look, I'm going to take my belt off. So, why don't you take your belt off? You know what's next to come off? The pants. That's generally the rule. Someone takes the belt off. Either they're about to give an ass whooping, or they're going to take their pants off. And I don't think he doesn't look like he's going in for an ass whooping. And he opens the door and it kills him. I just about had a seizure because they fucking like edit it like worse than a Michael Bay movie. Like, I'm pretty sure there was like 100 shots within a second there. And it's like, just I don't know. Like, you're supposed to. Are you trying to scare me? Like, oh, this monster is so, like, evil. It just flashes like fucking police lights these days. Don't get me started. I'll get myself started on this. Fucking police lights, man. They no longer have, like, the spinning around things. It's the LED lights that flash at, like, fucking ridiculous speeds. That's like, dude, I'm an epileptic. I'd rather not have a seizure as I'm driving by your police car that's pulled someone over. Although, if I then have a seizure and crash, at least the cop's right there. Help me out. Yeah, like, why does it need to be, like, so fast? If I see the lights, I know, the fucking police, it's like the ambulance. Why does it have ambulance written on it backwards? I look in the rearview mirror, I know it's an ambulance by the fact that it looks like a fucking ambulance. Seriously, that pisses me off so much. Just why? I'm gonna write onto the front of my car in backwards letter, "Hey asshole," And that person who's in front of me looks in the rearview mirror like, hey, asshole. And he's like, what the fuck? I was watching a show, wasn't I? And something happened on this show. Oh, yeah, the monster, the creature, killed the security guard. So the other security guard runs in to see what's going on. And the creature attacks and kills him. And we get a slight glimpse of the creature. And, oh my god, it looks like a beautiful lady. Oh, Baywatch Nights is going to rip off Species here. Except without the rampant nudity. Oh. Are you guys cool if I go watch Species instead of finishing this episode of Baywatch Nights? No? You're not cool with that? You want me to finish Baywatch Nights? Why am I assuming what you're thinking? I am going to finish Baywatch Nights. For reasons unknown to me. But hot chick killing people. That's part Species. And so, the new guy, I've already forgotten his name. Should I am going to check that out. What is the name of the new guy on Baywatch Nights? Like Treat or Trek or something. But anyways, he goes to pick up David Hasselhoff. He's like, we got trouble going on, so I need your help, and I need Angie Harmon's help. And I'm not sure, because I don't think they're a detective agency anymore, are they? And Teague. His name is Teague. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because he puts the Teague in Tegan and Sarah. He doesn't, but... Where am I? So Teague picks up Hasselhoff and Angie Harmon. Even though I don't think they're a detective agency anymore. But they help them... I don't know. So they go to the lab and they're like... Something escaped from lab, and we don't know what. And Angie Harmon's dusting prints or something, and she's like, hey, was he working with DNA stuff? And then she finds, like, a piece of something, like flesh or something, and from this piece of flesh, she thinks, okay, the little project here is evolving. I don't know how you jump to that conclusion without knowing originally what the project started off as. Like, unless you know what the creature started off as, how do you know the creature is evolving? Could have just been a piece of skin, like, got ripped off while they were doing whatever. Just... Why? Why is what I ask you. But Hasselhoff, who is the stand-in for us, the television viewing audience, just looks really super confused. Like, oh, what the fuck does this mean? I don't know. Just like, I don't know why I'm watching either. But then we get, even though it's no longer the theme song, I'm still going to sing it. After the sun goes down, someone's gonna live, someone's gonna die. Now this guy's driving down this dirt road, and he sees a naked woman. The creature. And he stops to help her. Which, I wonder if he would stop to help if the creature was a naked man. I don't know. Because, you see a naked woman, you're like, oh my god, she's vulnerable, I must help her. And my penis must help her as well. You see a naked man, you're like, get the fuck away from me, this guy's crazy. So, I think it was his penis made the decision to stop and help. And he's like, you're naked, so it's cold out here. You want my coat, and I can drive you somewhere? But instead, she slashes him across the face. He's like, what the fuck was that for? Well, fuck you, I'm taking my coat back. And they tussle, and I think she kills him. And meanwhile, over at the lab, Angie Harmon's doing whatever Angie Harmon does. Because now she's a scientist and not a... Well, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I was tainted by David Hasselhoff's autobiography that said, for whatever reason, Angie Harmon became a scientist instead of a detective in season 2. But if you remember, there were episodes in season 1 where she's running all sorts of like lab work. So it's not that much of a jump. But she's doing lab work and she says, well, this DNA seems amphibian. And David Hasselhoff, because he's the idiot of the group, is like, amphibian? Like a frog? Frog couldn't do damage like that. And so Angie Harmon has to explain to him what amphibian means, because it's not just frogs. And just because you have amphibian DNA, it's more about the properties of what an amphibian is. She's not saying that it was a fucking frog. Did you really get this, stupid David Hasselhoff? Okay, now I see why maybe you were getting pissed off at the scripts for season 2. You're a fucking idiot in this season. That was your jump? Like, amphibian DNA? Must be a frog. I'm sure there's amphibians that could do some real damage. And plus, if you ever saw the movie Frogs, which you don't have to, if you go and look back in the archives, I watched Frogs so you don't have to. Frogs can kill. I mean, sure, that movie wasn't really a nature documentary, but I don't trust frogs. I've seen them. They're evil. Now, Photo Boy and Donna D'Errico are in the gym, and they make a challenge to see who can last longest on the Stairmaster. Because, Photo Boy's all, like, macho, like, "Who? No woman be able to stand long like me." It would be... You know what? If Photo Boy actually talked like that, I would love that character. But as it is, he's just even douchier than that. But Donna D'Errico's like, okay, we're going to make it a bet. So, what do you want if you win? What do you have... Or, I don't know, something like, what do I have that you would want if you win? Or something. And then the way the shot is framed as he's thinking about it, you see his head, and you see just her tits next to him. Just right there. Just her boobs. Just not her head. Not any part of her body. So it's leading you to think like, he's going to ask for her boobs. Not even ask for sex or anything, because the focus is entirely on boobs. So he's going to be like, I want your boobs. I want to motorboat them. I want to go. I want to go. Again, if this is what he actually said, I would actually like the character. But after staring at her tits for quite a long while, even longer than I would stare in person, because like at some point you gotta be like, I'm gonna look away. Which reminds me, I did one time on MTV, like Beach MTV or whatever, like stupid thing they did in the summer. They had Donna D'Errico walk around, and she had a camera between her tits to see like how long it would take before guys stared at her cleavage. And I think it was kind of unfair, because some of them were quick glances and not necessarily right at your cleavage. Okay, yeah, they probably were looking at your cleavage. It was kind of just an odd segment. But anyhow, Photo Boy would fail, is all I'm saying. See, he's like just staring at them for a long time. And then he wants her car. He asks if he can borrow her car because he's got a date. He's got a date, but he has no car, I think is what's going on. How did you get a date without a car? It's California. You need a car to get a date. I think that's the law. But if Donna D'Errico wins, she doesn't want anything, because just the look on his face of being humiliated is enough. And so, of course, she, like, pretty much kicks his ass, but he's not ready to quit until, hey, David Hasselhoff calls. Hey, he needs me. Okay, we're just going to have to stop. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I can't go any longer. So he meets up with David Hasselhoff, and they believe they've tracked the creature down to this nightclub. Which they are correct. She is there, wearing a t-shirt that she got off the guy she killed. And she's just kind of sitting there, like, just looking around. I don't know what kind of club this is, but a hot woman is there, and there aren't a ton of drunk guys hitting on her. So, I don't know. Just no one's hitting on her. Like, maybe it's one of those, like, she's too hot, so no one has the balls to actually come up to her, because they figure, like, oh, she's so hot, she's got to be taken. I have no fucking chance with her. But I'm not entirely sure how Hasselhoff came to the conclusion that the creature's there. I think because they found the dead guy's truck or something, and sure, whatever. They don't even know what the creature is. So they're just assuming that the creature could drive the truck. I don't know. Maybe if I paid closer attention. But I feel like even if I paid closer attention, I still wouldn't understand. So inside the bar, the cops who are investigating, I guess, the death of the guy who was driving the truck. Poor guy. And the cop goes up to this surly biker-looking dude and just kind of assumes that this surly biker dude is the murderer. That's profiling. Not racial profiling, which is also bad. But I think this is just as bad, just that this guy looks like a biker. He looks like tough. He kind of looks like the sax guy from The Lost Boys. But I think the sax guy would be a lot older, so I don't think it's him. How cool would it be? No, he doesn't have a sax, so it can't be him. Because I don't believe it would be him. Because I think that guy just walks around 24/7 with his saxophone. But, the police figured, like, this guy's got long hair, he's got muscles, it must be him. And they take him away, arrest him, and I was hoping that, he would at least yell, "I know my rights!" Because they did not read him his Miranda rights. So, surly biker dude, do not talk! Although, if you talk and they haven't read you your Miranda rights, then that's not admissible in court, right? They could get tossed. So you're good, biker dude. You're good. They've got nothing on you. Meanwhile, Hasselhoff sees the creature, but he doesn't know it's the creature. He just thinks it's a hot chick, and he's mesmerized because she's singing her siren song. I don't know. Are mermaids amphibians? Because she's got like a siren song. It seems like because it's like that like lovely music like and he's transfixed. Meanwhile, finally, a drunk guy is trying to hit on her, but she's too focused on Hasselhoff, and Hasselhoff's focused on her. Meanwhile, Angie Harmon's like investigating the DNA and doing whatever she does, and she thinks she finds something. And she asks Teague, "What's your agenda in all this?" He's like, "I don't have an agenda." But the look on his face suggests that he indeed does have an agenda. So Angie Harmon calls Hasselhoff, and she says, "I checked the DNA, and this thing is female." And David Hasselhoff's like, "What? A woman? No, can't be. A woman can't cause damage like this. Women are weak, not strong like Hasselhoff." It would have been so awesome if he said it like that. But no, he is incredulous of there can't be a woman that caused damage like this. And Angie Harmon's like, "No, I didn't say a woman, I said female. Whatever this creature is female." And apparently, the working hypothesis now, she was the doctor or whoever, scientist, isn't trying to turn amphibians into humans. He's trying to turn humans into amphibians. Like a mermaid. That I'm not sure is an amphibian. Of course, granted, mermaids aren't real, so I guess you can't really classify them, but they're part fish. So, wouldn't they get classified either as a human or a fish? I don't think they would get classified as amphibian. This is a good question. How would you classify a mermaid? So Drunk Eye goes off with the creature. The very sexy creature. And they go into the hallway or back room, or I don't know. I'm not really fully sure how this club is works out. Granted, I've been to bars, but generally not anywhere that has a second floor. So I don't know, like, how that works out. Like, is there just a hallway that you can just go into? Like, no one's gonna stop and check on you, and they're gonna assume, people went into the hallway. They're gonna go have sex. 'Cause this is what this guy is trying to do. And he's getting her drunk with some alcohol, like some champagne or sparkling wine. I am not sure which it is, because I do not know if the drink came from that particular region of France where only champagne comes from there, because fuck you, asshole. No, only sparkling wine that comes from this region is champagne. Everything else is just sparkling wine. No, fuck you, asshole. Champagne. If I want to call generic cola Coke, what are you going to do? You're going to stop me like, oh, no, that is not a Coca-Cola. That is Dr. Pibb. And yes, I realize Dr. Pibb is not a cola. It is Dr. Pepper, which is kind of cola. It's part cola, it's part root beer. Well, fuck you. I call it Coke. Because one time, speaking of bars, back when I didn't drink because I was underage, but I was old enough to get into bars. So I went to the bartender and I'm like, oh, can I get a Coke? And he says, do you mean a Pepsi? Because this bar served Pepsi, not Coke. And it's like, fuck you! Whatever! Was he expecting like, oh, no. I am too loyal to the brand of Coca-Cola to drink a Pepsi, or I am a snob, sir. I turn my nose up at the Pepsi-Cola. If you do not have Coca-Cola, I will ask for a different drink. But, anyhow, what happened in this anyhow? So he's getting her drunk, and then he's trying to make the moves on her, and she's like, what are you trying to do? He's like, lady, I've played red light, green light with lots of women before, and you waited too long to say red light. And, oh, he's a date rapist. Okay, go ahead, creature. Fucking kill him. As he does not understand consent. Like, consent isn't, okay, you've got 30 seconds to tell me no. Oops, you didn't say no. That means yes. No. Bad date rapist. Bad. Meanwhile, Hasselhoff doesn't know where she went, so he goes to the drunk guy's buddy, because he saw her talk to the drunk guy, but I guess got distracted and didn't see where she went off. And figures she went off with the drunk guy, so he tells the buddy, like, well, I need to find her, because, the test came back, and it came back positive. You know what kind of test I'm talking about, right? And the guy's like, yeah, I probably should stop my buddy before he bangs that disease bag. But it's too late, because you can hear the screams of date rapist being killed by the creature. Hooray! I love you, creature! So Hasselhoff finds the creature, but he's sympathetic to her. And she says, don't hurt me. And he's like, I'm not going to hurt you. But then the police show up, and they want to hurt her. They want to kill her. Because I guess at some point they figured out that the surly biker was not responsible for the murders. And that somehow this woman is a very dangerous creature that... Well, I mean, I guess if they figure she did the killing, she must be super strong. I don't know how they got really to the point that she is the one we should go after and that she possibly could kill us all. So let's send the fucking SWAT team. And she... Ooh. Don't worry, I didn't hurt myself. which you're probably like, what the fuck's he talking about? I didn't hear anything. But trust me, that should have been painful, but it wasn't. It just sounded painful. On my end. You probably didn't hear it. But so, something happened that did not involve me. Oh, yeah, so she jumps out the window, and they're like, well, we're gonna go after her. We're gonna kill her. And Angie Harmon tells Hasselhoff, like, she's probably going back to the ocean, because she's an amphibian, and she'll feel safest in the water. And so Hasselhoff decides, well, he's gotta get to her before the SWAT team gets to her, because obviously the SWAT team's gonna kill her. He's not gonna kill her. And so this chase kind of goes on forever. And I mean for fucking ever. And then finally, Hasselhoff reaches her, and she's so close to the ocean, but she collapses. She just doesn't have the energy. And Hasselhoff's like, I'll take you home. And he picks her up and starts carrying her in her arms. But unfortunately then the SWAT team comes, and they say, put her down, or we'll shoot. And Hasselhoff, he fucking calls their bluff. He's like, no. You know, like fucking ape from Planet of the Apes. Whichever one. Was it Cornelius? Whichever one. The one that, like, that started the whole thing in the third film. Where they asked him to do something, and he's like, no. And then they're like, whoa, apes can talk now. And that's how I felt. Like, the cops go, whoa, Hasselhoff can talk now. So he says no, and they're just not willing to shoot him. But she's like, no, I can't take this anymore. So she jumps out of his arms, and she runs towards the SWAT team. And, you know, at that point, the SWAT team has no choice, and they fucking open fire on her, and just shoot her up to the fucking gills. I didn't mean that joke, but she's an amphibian. Do amphibians have gills? I am going to search that. Do amphibians have gills? Do. When most amphibians hatch, they have gills to breathe underwater. So, alright, my joke fucking landed. And I didn't even intend to, which is probably why it landed, was I did not plan. So they shoot her to the gills, and she's dead, and then, for some reason, there's an explosion! I don't know what the fuck there was that could explode, and if there was something there that could explode in this tunnel, shouldn't the SWAT team have been like, whoa, let's, be a little less trigger happy and not blow ourselves up. Luckily, Hasselhoff jumps out of the tunnel before the fireball can get him. Really, like, what was the explosion? And so then Photo Boy catches up with him outside of the tunnel, and he says, what happened? She ran into them. She wanted to die. She knew she didn't belong here. She paid the price for the doctor's experiments. We all paid the price. Which, whoa, a little dramatic there, Hasselhoff, don't you think? What price did you pay? Having to see someone die? Okay, that's kind of a steep price, but that not as bad as the creature who had to actually die. And so Photo Boy asks him, where are you going now? He's like, and he says, home. And end scene. End credits. So I'm glad that, like the first season of Baywatch Nights, these episodes are just gonna fucking not resolve shit at the end. They're just gonna be like, there's no wrap up, like, fuck this, I'm going home. And, I forget if I mentioned, but one of the things Angie Harmon said is that because she is an amphibian, she has the potential to replicate. And so I'm expecting a second hot chick creature amphibian monster to pop up. No. How do you fucking tease us with Chekhov's replicant hot chick? But... And what did Teague know? What was his real agenda? I don't know. But, yeah, that was the end of the episode! I really wish the show knew how to, like, end with resolution. But no! No resolution for you! No resolution for me! Only Hasselhoff. VelvetAl@hotmail.com, or leave a comment in the comment section. Till next time, we've got what? Like 20 episodes left, I think. So, the end goal is in sight. We've gone over the hump. And we will one day reach the glorious end. I love you guys.